Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. J, here with another phenomenal episode for hashtag It Could Have Been Me. What a great way to close out Women's History Month by bringing in our nation's finest. I said it, hashtag it. I'm letting everybody know we have our nation's finest here along with a phenomenal ally. And we're going to be talking about police and community engagement. Now, just to let you all know, because I've been corrected already, we're not just talking about police officers being just police officers. No, they are on the front line, not only when there's a problem or when something needs to be solved, but when humanity is needed at best, when belonging and engagement is needed. So I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. But before we jump into things, I do want to get introductions from everyone, but there's a twist on how we're going to start with our introductions. And here's the first question. If you could write your own autobiography, what would the title of your book be and why? And as you're thinking about your answer, I want you to think about how you're going to introduce yourselves to the rest of the world. So once again, what is the name of your autobiography and why? Who are you? Who do we have here? Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. J, here with another phenomenal episode for hashtag It Could Have Been Me. What a great way to close out Women's History Month by bringing in our nation's finest. I said it, hashtag it. I'm letting everybody know we have our nation's finest here along with a phenomenal ally. And we're going to be talking about police and community engagement. Now, just to let you all know, because I've been corrected already, we're not just talking about police officers being just police officers. No, they are on the front line, not only when there's a problem or when something needs to be solved, but when humanity is needed at best, when belonging and engagement is needed. So I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. But before we jump into things, I do want to get introductions from everyone, but there's a twist on how we're going to start with our introductions. And here's the first question. If you could write your own autobiography, what would the title of your book be and why? And as you're thinking about your answer, I want you to think about how you're going to introduce yourselves to the rest of the world. So once again, what is the name of your autobiography and why? Who are you? Who do we have here at the table? So I'll give you a couple more seconds to think about it. And Chief Salisi will start with you whenever you're ready.
Well, thank you very much. Michael Salisi, Police Chief Stowe. And I believe that the community, that we're part of the community that I grew police in, I grew up in, so I have a really strong connection with them. So much so that my parents still actually live in the town, so I'm very connected. And if I had to write an autobiography, I'd say the title would be S-Curves. And because, my career has gone through ups and downs, lefts and rights, being part of the community, being outside the community, and all different turns, and you don't know what's around the next corner.
Okay. Thank you, Chief Salisi. I appreciate that. And next up, we have Lieutenant Barhight. Hi. Lieutenant Kellie Barhight.
Yes. Lieutenant Kellie Barhight. I'm a 25-year veteran of the police agency. I've worked with the chief for almost the last 2 years. And my autobiography is going to be Not Just a Girl.
Okay.
Not just a girl. That's kind of my motto lately, that you can't judge a book by its cover on just who you are and what you look like. And we all come from different walks of life, and nobody knows what shoes that I wear or have been there. So don't just count me out because I'm just a girl.
Okay, Lieutenant Barhight. Very well, very well, very well. All right. Next up. Well, you got however you do listen.
My name is Kerline Desir. I'm a police officer in the city of Boston. I've been an officer for approximately 10 years.
Really?
Yes. And if I would have a book and it were to be about my life, I think it would be called What's Next. And the reason being is that there's always something next, right? You accomplish a goal and there's what's next. You go on a trip, I'm like, what's next? You do something and there's always something next. So I'm always finding that next thing to do.
Very well. So what is next? Woo!
Sometimes I talk to Jamila, we get so overwhelmed in what's next, right? There's like a list between work, between community work, between our programs, personal stuff, acting, mean, there's just so much to do, and I think I'm just trying to tackle it the best way I can, and it's gonna be great.
That's very well. Thank you.
So, my name is Jamila Gales. I'm a 15-year veteran law enforcement officer. Yes, 15 years. It goes really quick. Autobiography, it will be titled Something About Her. And so why I say that is everything that I've taken on in my life, people have been trying to figure out what the blueprint is to include my program, to include just everything that I've taken on. And when people find out all the things that I've done in life, they're always wondering how I did it one, two, despite all the obstacles, and trying to figure out what that thing is about. It's just me.
Very wow! I love it. I love it. I love it. So just to make sure everyone feels well, ready for me to feel comfortable, should I use your titles when coming around asking questions, or first names? First names. Okay. All right, Jamila.
Yes.
See, I'm not nervous, Jamila. Okay. Here's a question for everyone. I've done so much research on what you all have done in the communities, whether it's TikTok, or the girls programs, or just advocating for people in the neighborhood. And my question for you all is this: where did the love for the community come from? Is that part of the culture? And forgive me, this is like a loaded question, but where did the love come from? Is this part of the culture? And what keeps you going? Like, how does the community keep you going and inspired? That's huge. It is loaded. I know. Maybe that's the title of my autobiography. It's loaded.
I'll say for me, I've always been immersed in community. I played basketball growing up. I was a swimmer growing up. And so just taking up space in community, I was a pastor's daughter. So
Yes.
a lot of things within the community. And community kind of embraced me in a way that was like a warm hug all the time. So being that this will get into why I started the program. I was good academically, I was good athletically, so a lot of people wrapped themselves around me. And so I had a lot of guidance, a lot of mentors. And so pouring back into the community that poured into me was not a challenge, not difficult. It wasn't even a decision, it was just, it's natural. And so what keeps me going, I say it all the time that I don't know if I would still be in law enforcement if I wasn't able to do this aspect of it.
Really?
I went to a women's conference yesterday with the girls that I run the program with, and one of the city councilors said to me, like, you literally are never anywhere without these girls. And I said, that's so they're a part of my real life too. So it's a part of my calling to be a part of the community.
Okay, but let's stick with you. Hold on, everyone. Everyone's looking at the same question. Hold on. I often say to people that the data doesn't lie. And with you, I'm going to borrow your words from you, hugging the community, wrapping your arms around the community. How does that show up in the data? Do you see a reduction in folks getting in trouble or people reaching out for help? Like what do you see?
So this is because so when I said something about her, so my background is biology, so I did research, right?
Very well.
And so I love that field to come into this one. And so I know one of the things about data is that it's not attractive if it's not easy.
It's true.
And I'll say when you're doing preventative work, there's no like marker. So people always want to do the court involved youth. They want to do youth that there's some measurable thing to start with a baseline.
Yeah.
And what we do, we are preventing those things from starting by starting at age 11.
Age 11.
Yeah. So my program
Age 11.
11 to 24, right? Because they don't just fall off and become adults and just know what.
Right.
But so I can tell you that I was speaking to this earlier. We have 100% matriculation rate into college for my program, right?
Tell us the name of your program.
Girls are fucking our world. And so
So show the shirt. I know you're all right. Show the shirt. Okay.
And so that's the data, the hugs that we get. I had one of my young girls who's been with me since she was the 6th grade. She's now freshman at Suffolk University. She had a tough time, so for her spring break, she walked through the door. She said, "I just need my girlfriend," and she spent her spring break with us. So that's the data for me. Like I know that grants and all these things we want to see. You want to see all these
Right.
all things, and we can make it fancy. We can do those things, and we have some metrics. I spoke about that at one of the conferences that we had. But the real data is the impact that you're making and the hugs that you get and the thank yous. And when things are happening in the city and you get the text messages from the parents and the girls and they say, thank you for everything that you do when everybody else is screaming at you and not appreciating you. So that is the data. The data is the human data. That is the human capital that you gain by doing what you do with the people every day.
And we're making history over here. I told you all, Women's History Month. Right over here, Officer Gales. So Jamila, so Kerline, we're gonna pass it over to you. Gonna pass it over to you.
I think yeah.
So the love and connection that you have for the community, where did it come from? Why is it important to you?
I'll start off with saying I watch Jamila and what she does with those young girls, and I work with those young girls. They are amazing, and it's truly more than a program. It's family. It is therapy. It's just what she does is amazing, and I can't wait till she tells you more about it. You will just be mind blown by her. So I'm just happy to be able to work with this generation. So for me, I think I look back at my life and I remember this officer. He's still on the job. His name is Officer Elvis.
Okay.
And
Officer Elvis.
Officer Elvis.
Yeah.
No, his last name. What is Officer Elvis's last name?
Officer, we appreciate you.
Officer Elvis, right? So if you lived in Rosendale, you will know Officer Elvis. And I remember when I was young, my parents were really sheltered. And so when I got a glimpse of what outside felt like, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, this is what we do out here. This is fun. But they were super strict, so I was always getting in trouble. Well, not always, but just a little small stuff. And every time I got in trouble, I'm calling, Officer Elvis, please help me. And even getting on the job, I had to call him. I'm like, Officer Elvis. He's like, Kerline, what did you do again? I'm like, all right. And, just like seeing how much of an amazing role model he was, not only to me. When I say in trouble, mine is like small stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like there were young people around the neighborhood who were getting like court involved. Their level of trouble was a lot higher than mine, but just Elvis was so graceful with them. He was so soft with them, and just watching that, I was like, wow, like you have the cops that are like chasing people, which I get it. But just watching his impact on this community of young people who were just finding themselves, I was just motivated by him. And so when I come on the job, I think about the little Kerlines and the little Ashleys and the little Charlies, and I just want to mirror the things that the positive impact police have had on me when I was younger. So that's what I try to provide through what I do with young people. I try to provide experiences that I had that were positive and that I wish I had. And so that's why I'm so invested, right? I believe in young people. I believe that you get them while they're young, you can save their lives. I really do. And it doesn't just take police, it takes community, it takes parents, but we aren't just police officers, right? Because we're with the parents, we're at the hospitals, we're at the therapy sessions. Yeah, and it's crazy because when I got on the job, I didn't know it involved all this.
Right.
We went to community engagement, we started working under the amazing superintendent, Nora Baston. And so at that point, I remember I'm like, oh my God, my hours don't stop. I'm at home answering phone calls. Like, it was a lot to do. And people think about community work, and I know sometimes there's this stigma like, that's not policing. Oh my God. It is a lot of work, right? Because it's not just physical work, it's emotional work, right? And so I'm blessed to have had that opportunity. I'm blessed to continue the amazing work that I started in community engagement. And I think if all officers align themselves with some of that work, I think you will really feel full.
Very well. Very well.
And money can't buy that. Kelly.
Yes.
Kelly.
That's what my mother used to say.
Oh, really? I have a different question for you.
Okay, go.
Okay.
I was just thinking about it. Now
I know. Okay, so love and connection. Kelly. No, Kelly, I got to ask my serious, my
Okay, go, because I'm ready.
Okay. A while back, I mentioned a term called unconscious bias. And I'll be honest with you all here in the room and those of you in the audience. I speak a lot or do a lot of trainings on unconscious bias. Like, what are you doing to break those biases and not putting people in certain categories? And just hearing you all speak and hearing the stories, it's like, wow, look at this bias breaking. Because when we turn on the news or when we watch TV see or see the movies, it's always this typical, the police officer. But Kerline, when I'm hearing you speak about the emotional aspects of it and being in the therapy sessions in the homes and families, it got me thinking, Kelly, for a different question for you. How do we move from unconscious bias to unconscious belonging?
We went deep.
Yeah, I know. Y'all started it.
Sorry, Kelly, that's not what you look at.
I feel like Eddie's totally answering that question. So the way I grew up, my mom, we were very, very poor. But there was, my mom, old Italian woman, she opened her door to all walks of life. And when I say that, our home and our Sundays, my mom being like we were kids who had to stand in line and wait for food, like at the church. Like when I said we came from nothing, but that didn't matter. My mom was a waitress, and she would open the door on Sundays. You know what? She could afford pasta, and there would be people at our table that I didn't even know. Like I didn't even know. She was a waitress. She'd bring people in, and there was nothing but love of everyone. Didn't matter what race you were, where you came from, how you lived your life. That was who she was. And she used to say there, before the grace of God go out, you don't judge people. You talk to them. And if you, and I've carried that. I was a detective for 14 years. I spent a majority of my time in the detective bureau through my career.
Okay.
And people used to say to me, hey, Kelly, how do you, and I always went by Kelly, so I love that you call me that. I've never been called officer, I've never been called detective, I've never been called lieutenant. My name is Kelly. And that is how we engage with people who are different than us. And don't look at them, by how they present themselves. Speak to them. Like, that is the basis of humanity. That really is the basis of humanity. My job, I got into this career to truly help people. That's the point of policing. That is the basic fundamentals of this job. And so as humanity exists out there, we have to be able to talk to people and accept them on where they're at and go from there. I mean, that's how we accept everybody in their individuality and move forward.
Thank you. Okay, so now, thank you, Kelly. And with the stern, that's how we move forward. Okay, and that's how we move forward. Wonderful. Chief Salisi. See how deep the question can I go?
The hardest one.
I consider you to be a great friend and ally. So I'm curious to hear your response to this question. And it's all good. It's fine. I saw a stat from the National Police Institute that said almost 50% of the nation is female. However, only 12% of police officers are female.
It's a higher number than I got.
Oh, no, y'all correct me. This is
13, it's up to 13 right now.
13?
Yes.
I thought it was 11.
Okay, so it's 13%?
13 right now.
All right. 13%?
But that's been for decades. That hasn't changed.
So, okay, hold on,
3% into the ranks?
So it's 7% for sergeants and above all the way, and then it drops off to 2 to 3 for lieutenants.
10 and higher.
Can you talk to us about that? Hearing those stats, or what do you think? How do you think? And it's Women's History Month. We're closing out, and you're the sole ally here. So we appreciate that. You're the chief.
Well, thank you. Actually, before I answer, I want to say what you said earlier. Thank you is like the big thing. That's our big picture, because that is, to me, a thank you is so much more important than anything else. And I just wanted to reiterate that. You made a great point on that. But how do we bring more women into policing? Right? How do we bring?
Well, why do you think the numbers are so low?
Well,
Hashtag it could have been me. Why do you think it's why do you think the numbers are low?
I can tell you.
Next question.
I can only tell you from what my perspective is.
Okay, yes, of course.
And that is, how do we recruit more women? How do we really raise women up in the who are in the profession, with us within my department. And for the longest time, and it still is this way, recruiting. We'll start with recruiting. And under the law, we're only really supposed to hire people that are 15 miles within our community. So 15 miles is a very small area. Well, let's expand that. Let's not look the other way, but go from edge of town to edge of town. And so when we recruit, I look at let's try to get people in who from everywhere, all the way to Boston, because the edge of Stone to the edge of Boston is about 15 miles. But then we did it one time where we had an entry-level position, and as officers we have to be physical, we have to go through the academy. Well, some people can't drive or can't be part of the initial testing. So what do? We offered rides. We said, hey, listen, we'll come get you. Tell us what you need. Because you may not start at a place that you have a car. Not everyone has a car.
Yeah.
Well, let's get you to that place. Let's get you the ability, so to break down that barrier as well too. Offer it to more individuals, and then to support all the women that we have in our job, and come up with policies. Make sure that if you want to start a family, that your job is going to be secure.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come back to those. To your job that you had before, because that's important. Because it wasn't like that before. It was use your sick time, and or as it was told, are you coming back? If you have a job, are you coming back? Well, what's it matter? You still support the individual. You still support who the person is.
Yeah.
And I know I sold you a lot.
So I'm curious, officers. Jamila, Kerline, Kellie, Michael. Curious, because Michael, you said something. And by the way, the questions are coming up, but I'm just hearing everyone's responses. Kellie, you mentioned the stats. So he said 13% the police officers are female. I'm curious, and if you don't know, it's all right. Forgive me. I wish I could just type it up quickly. What do the stats look like for women of color?
Much lower. It's much lower.
Much lower? Okay. Thinking that out. Okay. All right. Just whoever wants to jump in next with this question. One, what is the hardest part of your job, or some challenges on your job? And more importantly, are those challenges magnified with you being a woman in the unit? If you all can, we love, Stowe Police, Boston Police Department. We love y'all. We'll continue to partner. But I'm curious because when I started this podcast journey of hashtag it could have been me, I realized that we're not talking. So I'm not hearing how folks overcame their barriers and their obstacles. I mean, maybe what I'm facing, you could be facing, Jamila. But we won't know until we talk about it. So that's the whole purpose of my question. What are some of the hardest challenges on the job, and is it magnified?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
I actually just did a leadership conference on this specific topic, and one of the hardest things for women in law enforcement, the number one reason women leave is gender bias. It is the number one reason that police officers leave, and then secondary, it's having children. So I'm a mom of 2 sets of twins. I'm not an anomaly, and I'm not a unicorn. It can be accomplished, but it is very hard juggling motherhood and the demands of being a police officer. And I can tell you, the gender bias what is the biggest hurdle to kind of get over. And I can probably talk for all of us here that I've been told to my face I'm only a lieutenant because I checked a box. Not the fact that I actually am smarter than all the individuals that took the exam or I have the qualifications. I made the qualifications. I've been on the job 25 years, so I came on when there wasn't a difference of a male and female PT test. You had to get into the academy based on one thing. You had to, and so this whole gender bias that I'm a woman, so therefore I only got the job because I'm a woman. That is a really hard barrier, and that belief is not just in law enforcement. That belief is social.
Exactly.
That's society as a general. I was just in a shot. I just had this conversation. I was walking in shots in this uniform, and I had a man approach me and say, "Wow, you're a female cop. And I was like looking around, like, last time I checked, yeah, like, what do you mean? But he could not fathom that I was a female police lieutenant, and that happens, and you guys can probably attest to that. It happens all the time. Like, with the social, and out in this world, people just don't assume that we have that role, that we can do that role. So that's one of the hardest. We have to prove ourselves all the time.
Yep.
And we shouldn't have to, because we all got here based on being able to do the job.
Correct.
I didn't check a box. I'm not here to check a box. I'm here to do me, right? I'm here to continue doing the job that I know how to do.
Because I'm not just a girl.
I'm not just a girl. I'm not just a girl. That's right. That's right.
But you could say I'm not just a girl, but being a girl is a superpower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Women are more organized. Sorry, Chief.
It's all right.
I don't understand why more women are not leading. Law enforcement, that number is very low. Women know how to put things together. We've had to be multifaceted just by gender, right? Whether we like it or not. These are the roles we play in our families.
Yeah.
So the idea that they're 2%, 3% of our leadership is insane. I think it's hard to change what is the norm. And this is a male-dominated job. And so trying to shift that is going to take some time. It's going to take more time. But I'm with the lieutenant with Kellie, where it goes like, there was no gender. I'm a soft female, so I was in the front with all the long legs. Military men, everything they had to do, we had to do. So there's the checking the box means I check the same box that you check together.
I hear that. Wait, say it again for the camera. Checking the box.
Checking the box means we have to check the same box.
That's a t-shirt, everyone. I love it.
So you and I got here the same way. But it's I think in society there's a challenge to see women in these different roles. And switching a little bit about what you said, people still do come over and say, "You're really a police officer." Oh yeah, it's like women. And I've had people do testimonials say that they saw more women growing up as police officers they would have become as police officers. One of the girls from my program interviewed with Superintendent Baston and I, and one of her questions were, when we said, "What's your questions?" Because they interviewed comments in the program, she said, Are you all really police officers? And we're like, I was like, well, actually, she's a superintendent, she's a big boss. She was on to interview you as a youth, and I was like, yeah, I said, she said, Carrie does it, everything. I said, yeah. I said, yes, but that young lady who's now one of my leaders, and she's in college and she's a prominent leader of the community. She just got honored with Mayor who's extraordinary woman. So she gave us a program, and her only ambition is to become a police detective. She's Muslim. It's not in her culture for those to be on her goals or some of the things, and she's breaking barriers. And that's by the visibility that she sees through Officer Desir, Kerline, through Superintendent Baston, and all the other phenomenal women that work with us every day. So we're really intentional with our programs about representing that we are women. And even though we don't have our uniform all the time, it's funny when I walk in the uniform, they go, "Oh yeah, you are police officer," because they know the human side of us, right? And they get kind of bashful about it. They're like, "Oh, you look so good in uniform." I'm like, I forget. So it's just like this normal thing. We're just walking, and you just walk through the shots, but you don't know what little girl is looking up to you and excited about seeing a woman in uniform. And so, it does make a difference. When my son's school, I'll go talk to the school. He's like, "That's my mom. She's a police officer." And one of the girls corrected him because she said she's a policewoman. And so it does. It makes an impression on people. So we have to be visible. So that same thing that we are seeing could be a weakness is actually a superpower.
Is it too late for me to become a police
It's
officer?
sure. It's never too late.
What's the requirement? About anything. I'm seeing the human side. Okay.
I'll speak to just share a story. First, I remember one time, I think I was about 5 years on the job, and one of my white male coworkers was speaking to me about an opportunity, and he says, "Good for you. We need more smart women of color in these positions."
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, "What do you mean you need more smart women of color?" I'm 5 years on the job, and there was so many women of color that had way more time on than me. And I'm like, all of these women are intelligent.
Yeah.
They're smart. They're in supervisory positions, detectives. And I'm like, you think we need more smart women of color? Like, majority of the women of color that I've been around, and the women in the job in general, were smart to me.
Yeah.
And so it just reminded me of their perception. Some, not our.
No, she's not cheap. Careful, not true.
Some of my male counterparts their perception of us is that we are not good enough, right? Or we don't belong, or we haven't worked up to the standard of getting the positions that we need to. Or just remind me that we needed to work 5-10 times more harder. And so that was one of those moments where I was like, wow, this is what you think of us.
Right.
But I do feel like we do need more, once we get on the job, opportunities needed there, right? That comes with promotion, that comes with specialized units, right? A lot of the times we get discouraged when if we don't try for certain things, that we don't see women.
Yeah, it's true.
Like a lot of tactical specialized units, we may not see a lot of women there, so we're like, oh, it doesn't matter if we try, we're not gonna get it. But I think that you put in for everything, you try for everything, and you will be that example for the next girl who feels like, I can't do that, and they're so see Jamila, like, oh, Jamila's on a motorcycle, maybe I can do that, you know? But there's a long way we have to go. I do think that academy-wise, I know someone was talking about getting in the academy, like how many recruiting women in that way. We definitely took down a lot of the benchmarks with physical fitness. Now you don't get kicked out for physical fitness.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I think you just get kicked out for tests or something. I think academically. So there are those opportunities, and I think that has opened more opportunities for women to get on the job. So there's certain things in place, and we're moving, and it's going to take a lot longer. It's slow, but we are moving, and hopefully we can attract and we can retain.
I want to say something else too to that. Because there's two sides to everything, right? I also, when women are asking me how to get onto the job, I said, prepare yourself. Right? You have to be prepared for the job that you want. So you don't walk into a job unprepared.
Right.
You walk into an interview, so this is not different. You're not going to just get this just because you are. So then you'll be just checking the box. That's not what we do, right? And take pride in that, and the fact that I know the women in this room that are police officers had to do the same thing. Right. I don't need you to lower this so that we can do it. Be prepared, right? So if you're going to do it and you say this is what you want, be prepared. I actually was just talking to somebody who's going through the process about this now, because they were speaking to somebody, not being as fit, and I was like, why would you want to be unprepared for something?
Right.
And you're coming onto our job, right?
Right.
And I want to know if I'm in trouble and you're prepared to respond. And so I say that not just for women, but people in general. Like if you want the job, be prepared for it. So,
And on that, just on that topic, as me as lieutenant, as a supervisor, I don't want to check a box off for anyone. You need to cut. This is not like any job. This is a specialty career, and you have to want it, and you have to have that deep belief that you want to help people.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into. We don't just try this out. We don't just go, oh, maybe I'll be a cop today.
Right.
And go through all this training in a stressful police academy, and it's a stressful career to just kind of try it out, right?
Right.
You want this job. You wanted to be this job since you've been a child, or someone affected you in a way that you said, man, I really want to do that. So I will never check off a box for someone just because of their gender and say, yeah, let's get you because you checking off the right. No, that's setting them up for failure. Right? That is setting them up for failure. And that is frustrating because I teach for the police academy. And I've been in situations as an instructor where I have to fail people, and then you'll have the chief come in and say, don't fail them. Well, we're setting these women up for absolute failure. And that's not, how do we do that? And then one bad apple ruins it for all of us. And we get lumped in because there's not many women. So when one female does perform bad, or she is a bad apple, we all get lumped in. Right? So, and those are the things, we have to, as leaders, we have to make sure that we are hiring the correct candidate who fits all the qualifications. As hard as that is, in a very small pot of hiring police candidates, we still have to do the right thing.
I will second and third. Because when they did lower the standards, I was livid. I'm like, we were running in the dirt. I was pissed off. But I do feel like we can do it. I don't think that, and I'm sure there was other reasons why they did that. There's injuries and all types of things. But I do believe that we can work. We sometimes we do have to work harder, but we can achieve everything. We don't need a lower standards to retain more of us or to get more of us. We just need more opportunities. And I think that's really where.
My goal too is for women in law enforcement. We always see the firsts, right? Oh, this is the first someone. I can tell you, I was the first female. I was the first pregnant female. I was the first detective. I was the first sergeant. Now I'm the first lieutenant. And I said, I want a law enforcement system where we are no longer the first. It's normal. It's where this is a normal, everyday job for women in law enforcement. I hate being the first. I don't want to be the first. Right? I want this to be completely normal, and we are accepted, and this is a normal career for all of us.
Very well, very well. Let me ask a follow-up question. So then, since we don't want to just keep being the first, what do you think the future of policing looks like for women?
Sure. I think, okay, so examples like this, we're sitting at this table today because a woman who's in leadership in this position, right?
Who's the woman, if you don't mind?
Superintendent Baston.
Okay, Superintendent Nora Baston. Yes.
Superintendent Nora Baston, who I met prior to going and speaking to known officers prior to going on the job. I was a ball player in this city. I played basketball, and I saw her in uniform. I saw her playing basketball. I saw her go to the
Did you ever win against her?
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
my team used to win. So,
I want to make sure I got that. Okay.
just so you know, I'll tell you a small story. So my team used to win. Our team used to battle against each other.
Okay.
It was like if you know Superintendent Baston, she's very competitive.
Oh, yeah, she seems like it. Yeah.
As am I. So. So we actually met each other adversarially, but again, her presence, like she'd be coaching the team if she wasn't playing, and like throughout the league that we were playing in, you would just see her come in. I'm like, she's a highly decorated officer. Yeah. And she would get on the court and just be talking all this trash and stuff. But I love it. Men are women, right? And she would talk to you about anything. So I even remember when I was getting ready to go on a job and talking about it, she's like, you can do it and whatever. So it takes all of those moments. It takes people putting you at the table for you to know that you need that mentorship. So if I tell you that I'm interested in coming into law enforcement, don't set me up for failure.
Right.
Tell me what the things are I need to do. You should be running hills. You should be doing this. You should be able to do push-ups. You should be able to do sit-ups. You're going to have. I was a triple major undergrad.
Wow.
The police academy was probably one of the most difficult academic years that I had. Doing that. And biology was one of my majors. Right. And I would say like just that coupled with the physical intensity and the atmosphere and everything, it was challenging. So be prepared. You're not about to walk in here, everybody sees the details and they see this and they're like, oh, well, this and that. Well, you got to get through the door first. You can't get through the door, you can't become a detective. I just want to be a detective when we come. Well, you don't want to be a cop. You don't want to be a detective because you have to be a police officer first. You don't get to just jump. And when I think about that, we're celebrating Women's History Month. We're celebrating the first. So as hard as it is for us, there were women that it was fought for.
Yeah.
Right? And they threw the rope back. And that's how we got
And they threw the rope back.
That's how we
Because
got
some people just
right.
will take
It's okay for us.
Yeah.
That's why, when we have supervisors that are present and like actually trying to figure out what do you want to do on this job? Okay, that's what you want to do, this is how you prepare for it. And then putting your name at the table, not just being a mentor. So mentorship is mentorship, right? Like
Right.
Say, oh, let's spend 6 weeks with you and tell you things and then never give you. But are you putting my name in the room?
Come on.
Are you, when you're going into that room, when you're going to that leadership training, are you bringing an officer with you?
Come on.
How are you making sure that the women behind you are also thriving? And how do they bring more on board? And that comes from sponsorship and mentorship.
There's room for all of us, right? There's room for all of us. And one of the biggest downfalls of women in law enforcement is some women will cut your legs right off.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, let's cut your legs right off.
And I've never understood that mentality. The fact is for me, I'm not going to be here forever. I'm old. I'm tired. You know? I got a lot of bills to pay. But the thing is I'm not going to be here, and I want my knowledge to get passed on to strong women. So I'm bringing them with me to the mountaintop. There's plenty of room and plenty of air to breathe up there. Like, let's go. To like cut other women off by the legs. What is that? That's just cadness and infighting over what? Like, we're adults here. We're adulting. Can we adults? But there are some women in this career that they don't understand that, and we as strong leadership need to call it out.
Right. Oh, call it out.
We need to not accept it, and that behavior needs to stop. So,
I'm actually throwing in there too, since the chief's at the table. It also takes allies.
Yeah, allies.
It
That's all. It really takes our male allies as well to put our names in the room, right? Because they're the most respected a lot of the times, right? Put our names in the room.
Yeah.
You see a position out, say Officer Jamila, Kelly, put our names in the room. So it really takes them to kind of join this, I would say movement. I would say revolution. But join this movement and help elevate us in this career.
Very well, and I can say, Chief Sleazy, I hear you speak about Kelly, I hear you speak about Phoenix. You're always putting others' names in the room, so thank you for doing that. Why is that important to you, to make sure you have people at the table and to put their names in the room?
So I don't have the experiences that you, all three of you four have. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I don't claim to. I don't understand, because it doesn't happen to me. I'm not looked upon that way. But I recognize that that people do look upon women differently than male officers. I have 2 daughters. I want to make the world better for them, to be out there as a woman and to get the dreams that they want here. So how can I do that in law enforcement? I try to be a good ally. I have Kelly that's definitely keeping me on my toes to make sure that I'm on the right track. And when I became chief a couple years ago, one of my platforms, I guess you'd say, is I want to be better. I want our department to be better. So how do I be better? How do we be better? How do we treat people better than we find them? And one of the things, language, I talked about the language we use, the words we use. We've had this conversation. We've gone through it, Kelly is going through our policies now. Let's get rid of the hurtful language in there. Let's look at our title. Everyone has said police officer here. It used to be patrolman. Years ago. Why? Well, now we switched it. I got rid of that. All of that is now say patrol officer. We got rid of the patrolman. So, how can I be a better ally? How can we make it better? And, we talk with, women traditionally in policing have been involved in those roles. Domestic violence, sexual assault, all the stuff that we don't want. No, it's not just that. It's everything. There are men that are great sexual assault investigators. There are women that can be great technical officers. So it's as long as you can do the job, let's get you the opportunities to do that job.
Let's get you the opportunities to do it. It's the exposure to opportunity. It really is. I know my partner and I were the only females in Dorchester that worked overnight to the time, so we got home. We're not even supposed to take reports in the rapid, but we did sexual assault calls and tell them all things. So when there was an opportunity to go run a drug raid, because we were running at that time, and we made a lot of arrests within that arena, the sergeant detective that was up there was like, hey, come do this raid with us. And it was like, okay, and then there was more after that, but it took an ally who's in that position to be like, they worked their butts off, let's give them this opportunity, and you go through the door with that, and it changes how they perceive you, it changes how they treat you, right? And well, if he trusts them, then we trust them, and so it opens up opportunities. Now we get opportunities to be play clothes and do different things, but it took that opportunity for him recognizing the work that we were doing and being able to do it. That's far few in between, so it's appreciated, and I will never forget that supervisor for that.
That's really great. Exactly what you just said. And then what happens after that, it just grows, right?
Yeah.
So then you have all these new individuals that are coming into your department or your section or wherever, and then new ideas. And then it's not the same old, we always did it that way. Yeah, which is not I don't like that saying, but we always thought that way. Well, that doesn't mean it did it right.
Right.
So now we get to change everything. How do you change it? You start slow from the bottom up, and then now the bottom is turned to the top, and it opens up all this more opportunity for everybody.
Two more questions, because our audience, even though you all are not here, the energy in the room, they can just take over. This happened last time before, and it's happening again. But before I ask the last 2 questions, I do want to point out Superintendent Baston. She is in the room. You know, she is in the room. And I'm putting her out because you all mentioned and sing high praises about how she's been a great mentor, mom, friend, advocate. Superintendent Baston, looking right at you for this one. Last week, so I have a soon-to-be 5-year-old daughter named Eliana, and I I was getting the promo pictures together. And Elliot looked at my phone and said, I want to meet her. And it was a picture of you, Superintendent Baston. And she said, Mommy, send her a picture of me and let me know what she says. And I sent a picture of my daughter to you, Superintendent. And my daughter said, what she said? Because she's learning how to read. You know, she'll be almost 5. And she says, Baston. Okay, what did she say? She said, you're adorable. So when you all speak about being seen, being in the room, even at an early age of 4 years old, they already know. So I want to say thank you. Even though she hasn't met you yet, she will. She keeps saying, when can I meet her? I'm like, soon. There's a lot of energy. So from your picture alone, she'll say, she looks like me. I'm like, yeah, especially with that ponytail going. So I just wanted to say high praises to you, Superintendent Baston. Chief Salisa, she's seen you too. Now she said, where's his hair? I said, I don't know. You don't know either.
Call that
She's everywhere. So I mentioned that to ask, how are you all transforming lives in your community? So I hear about these programs, I hear what you do in your spare time. I don't want to say spare time, but in your personal time. So how all of you here, how are you transforming lives in your community?
So my program that I have is called Archeus.
Okay, Archeus. Yes, it does.
So this is a youth arts program that teaches young people how to heal and express themselves through art. And so I created this program just thinking about my upbringing and how we didn't talk about our feelings.
Right.
We didn't talk about the I love yous, I hate yous, I'm experiencing neglect,
Right.
I'm hungry. But what we did do is we went outside, danced, we did poetry, we did graffiti, we designed our clothing, and through like stuff like that is really how we found out about each other, right? So we would have a rap, and then we'll say, hey, what was that like about? And they'll say, oh, that's about my mother who's not around, and blah, 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 blah. And so that's really how we found out deeper things about each other, really what was going on inside. And so I wanted to create an outlet for young people to be able to do that so that they're not punching walls, right? They're not screaming, they're not cutting themselves. And so I bring a group of young people from the ages of 14 through 24, and I teach them art, I teach them how to dance, I teach them how to sing, how to act, and I really teach them how to take those inner experiences in their lives, their feelings and their emotions, and I teach them how to bring it up into artistic pieces. So it's been beautiful for me, and just like Jamila says, we have our measurable things that we do, but honestly, how I measure the impact is really about the growth. Watching that kid day 1 who was always angry, or day 1 who never spoke, and then watch them year 2 and year 3, and they're the leaders, right? They're the ones with their hands up first. They're the ones sharing themselves. They're the ones that are happy. And so that's really how I see the impact that I personally have on these young people. I think it's beautiful. I think it's life-changing. And what I often notice, which I'm sure you notice too, is when our off seasons. We have a school year season, and then we take a little break, and then we have a summer season. And during that break, young people will say, Miss, well, what do we do? And I'm like, going on vacation. It just constantly reminds me, every time I'm thinking, I'm like, I need a break, like I'm tired, it just reminds me of the need for programs like this. And so I never take a break, right? I take that little month, and then you take 2 weeks off, and then 2 weeks you're planning and you're getting your funding ready and all that stuff. But through this program, I'm able to directly see the impact I have on young people. So shout out to everyone who's doing God's work out there and working with us young people. It's not easy, but you are changing lives. Awesome. Thank you.
And she's understated in there too.
Oh, she is.
So, society, you talked about implicit biases and all of those things. Society has a way of writing off certain demographics of the children.
It's true.
If they act out, if they're a little bit too loud, if they draw outside the lines, then they're deemed bad kids, or they're deemed these kind of kids. And what Kerline is speaking to. So, ironically, like all of our big programs kind of mirror our personalities, which is
I believe it.
it's kind of funny. So, Kerline draws outside the lines, which I love about her. Right? She's an actress, she's a mother, she likes to challenge the system, which is why she's a phenomenal program director. instructor and creator, right? And the young people that she's working with some of them are young people that people have written off. And they see Kerline and they light up, and she is showing up for them. And when they are feeling at their worst, they do call her. I've seen that play out in front of me, right? And she will show up, right? So you really cannot pay somebody for that because you don't get to turn your phone off. We talk about stopping and taking breaks. It's not a real thing. It's not a real break, right? So while we have these seasons, it's like you don't get to disconnect. You can't just stop. When you ask young people to trust you, it doesn't end at a point, right? Like it's a continuous thing. So watching them go from age 14 to now they're adults in careers or doing whatever it is, that's an impact. That's how she changes lives every day because she's actually showing up for people and for young people that other people are not willing to take a risk on, and she's putting them in spaces. So don't hurt herself. She's showing them how to express themselves in a constructive way to be productive members of society. So kudos to my sister.
All right, Jamila.
Yes.
Let's talk about you.
So, Girls Reflect Melrose is a program that's centered around creating leaders, right? So, we have girls from age 11 to 24.
Okay.
We're helping them develop leadership skills, life skills. So we've done things from swimming. There's a stigma with swimming.
I know. Put it out there.
I was a pool director, all of the things, right? So, a little island girl, I am one of those things, right? And so, like, aquatics is a big thing. So, like, I took away all the stigma of it. Swimming can be expensive. It can be all those things.
Right.
Here's your swimsuits. Here's your black girl head caps. All the things. So that's the big thing. Like, I stopped swimming because of that. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Me too.
here's your head caps. Here's your goggles. We are swimming. And so, that fear, I'll tell you, when we first got on the deck, I had 32 girls on the deck. We got on the deck, and some of them like wrapped themselves around. I was in the swimsuit, and they wrapped themselves, and they were terrified to get in the water. But the reason they trusted that, because water is a fear in our community as well. Right?
It is.
The reason they trusted that is because they trusted me.
Yeah.
So I got in the water, and by the end of the school year season, they all know how to swim, and several of them are training to be lifeguards.
Oh,
And so that's just like one of the caveats. Like, so if you give kids skills and teach them how to fish, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Teach them how to do the things, how to be productive members of society, then they will do that.
Exactly.
So that takes you, put them in opportunities. Like, oh, I know y'all don't want to swim. I'm going to teach you how to do this because guess what? This was lucrative for me growing up.
Right.
I was able. So back then, $300 was a big deal. But I was like, I had $300 my friends were getting less. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to do this. So transferable skills is one of our things. So they have to do public speaking.
Yeah.
This generation is terrified of speaking out loud. They're terrified of talking. With me, they have to do a capstone project, and they pay something. And I mean, they are talking about everything. They're talking about immigration rights. They're talking about all these things. And what I'm teaching them is how to become facilitators. So you all can learn how to facilitate your own workshops and get paid for this. We pay people to come into facilitation. That should be you all. So just giving them opportunities they otherwise would have. I take them to the vineyard for a week.
Oh, amazing.
Why? And even with the first time we took it down, somebody sent a message and said, why are you taking those kids that can't be late? And I was like, why don't they deserve to have this experience?
Exactly.
If it's not tangible, it's not real. But so you have to put them in these spaces, you have to give them opportunities to allow them to see themselves in that space. So fast forward, we're going into our fourth year. Last year, the girls that went the first year, so are in college, they were like, we were talking about it, we're going to create a grow estate out here.
Oh,
Right.
phenomenal.
Because they have the exposure. I didn't go to the video until I was like 5. You know what I mean? Like, because they have the exposure, now they can see themselves in that space. So the premise of the program is just girls reflecting our world. See yourself in every space, taking up space in this world. No matter who you are, nobody's going to tell you because you're a girl you can't do it. You're going to do it. And how we can support you from age 11 to 24 and beyond. I'm sure you're going to be being 30.
Yep.
We're going to do that. So we have 70 girls that we work with year-round, job training, all of the things, so all the opportunities. And we could not do it without our community partners, right? So changing lives means learning how to collaborate, learning how to use your resources, extending your network to the next generation. So all of the girls, I'm a part of Delta Simulators, where you my licenses all know my girls because they were all they're attorneys, they're all these things. And so I have young girls that want to go into those fields. Here's your connection. And so now you're not just being a mentor, you're getting into two of them and getting interested in the two attorneys from my life. So they're learning how to network, they're doing the elevator pitches, they're doing public speaking, they're doing all the things that's stopping them from doing their learning, right? We're keeping them super busy. And we're able to help them because we're also paying them and we're stipending them. So it's lifting that economic burden that the families have to find after school programs and things. They're working with us. And they get to work with the police too.
Even better. The icing on the
I'm
cake.
going to add, because I forgot to talk about the village. takes a village to do all this stuff. So I will say we both have amazing staff members. We both have amazing partners that we work with that really care about these young people, and we're very strategic, and we take very seriously who comes in to meet our children, our youth.
Yes.
So I just want to shout out to them, because if they do watch, I don't want them to feel that we left them out.
We love you all.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
true. And the amazing officers, including the Superintendent Baston, who like comes in and takes over. And they and she has all the shiny stuff on her uniform. So they're like, oh, excuse me, all Superintendent Baston's here. This and all. I'm like, no, it's imagine knowing a superintendent. It's huge. You know the superintendent possibly. You know these highly ranked women and men in the department. You know them by name.
Right.
That's the community policing that we're talking about. That's Kenny Grubbs, who was my dear officer, now my coworker. He was the first one that took us to Florida and Canada to play basketball. It was a police officer, right? Through PAL and through all of that, he took us into those spaces, and it was like he's taking the inner city kids into Canada to play basketball and showing us something different. And he didn't know what blessing he was going to be, but now he's my coworker. He's still doing that work next time.
Really?
You know what I mean?
You should go to his birthday parties. So he's like late 50s, early 60s, but his birthday parties have like kids Jamila's age who are like coach brothers.
Wow.
It is so
He was coach Brown, and now he's coaching my son. He's 6 and he's doing basketball playing still, and it's like he's amazing and phenomenal. But it takes those kind of community officers that like you see it, you see daily, and you almost forget the difference officers. You get to humanize the uniform, so
Because we are human.
Right.
That's where I think I think that's like the biggest takeaways. We are just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? And this is just our job. But we are human, and we do care, and we're empathetic, and my thing is buy-in in your community. You are part of your community, wherever it may be, right? So we talk about how are you part of your community. You guys are doing an amazing work. And by the way, can I volunteer for Martha's meeting? Because I've never I'm 47. I've never been in my life. Right? So,
Same here.
everybody.
yeah, right. So, and sometimes you don't learn until later. Like I have 4 children, and my son is autistic, and I knew nothing about autism until my son was born. And I will tell you, one of my biggest fears is police officers. And so my goal is to get into the community where children with cognitive disabilities, where we kind of don't have that knowledge base. And parents who have children with cognitive disabilities, they usually get the autism diagnosis between 3 and 5, and that is a huge area where they don't have services or have no knowledge of who to turn to for help. So, and then you get into school, the school age, and so they kind of have a little bit of guidance. So I go out and I teach, autism and what to expect and the programs that they can go with, and then our agency has where we can register them in the computer. The kids can come down and touch cruises, and with no lights, we make appointments, so they're allowed to come in and meet the officers, either in uniform or out of uniform. And my biggest thing was a cognitive disability is not a mental health disorder.
Right.
So we can't treat it the same way, which in law enforcement we had for a very, very long time. So, we have to accept them where they're at and be able to engage with them as police officers. And so it was a population that I felt was really, really important, and they were kind of dismissed. And we as police officers have to be able to go into these homes with children who are different than us, right? And we have to be able to render aid or talk to them or talk to the parents who are in crisis as well, because they might not have the knowledge base of those skills. So that is my takeaway from doing this job, is we are human, and we have to be able to engage with different people that, don't have the same thought process as us, but we can't lump them into a box. And you have to be able to talk to people, and you have to be able to maybe just sit there and not say a word and just be present. And that is okay too. So that's my takeaway on being a buy-in to the community and continue on the path of being where I'm at in my agency. We're lucky. Stowe is a different police department than I've ever worked. I call it my retirement community, although it hasn't been since I've been there. But I still believe in getting out of the car and talking to people and knowing people and knowing your community where you're at. So.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Chief Salisi, how are you transforming the community?
It's hard to go up against what when we first started, you guys came to the I can say that I'm even coming close to that. So, but in my little world that we're doing is really on how we're treating people. Like, what are we doing with the individuals that need help? We're not, I don't have the great community programs that you guys do, but it's more of how are we reacting to calls, how are we reacting to the individuals that we're coming across. Are we not arresting them anymore? We have a couple clinicians on staff, and we're bringing you more mental health and getting more resources. Our goal is to keep people in their homes, not to take them to jail, not to bring them to the hospital, not to do dump and runs. Our goal is not to bring people to court. Our goal is to use our we're both on the restorative justice board of directors. You know, it's really big in our department to the point where we do RJ first. So before cases go to court, it has to go through RJ first. And so we're trying to keep people out of court. I told the district attorney at one point, the goal is to put you out of business. Now, I understand that there's some crimes that we have to go that way, but you know, for most crimes, like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we making our community better? Why are we putting somebody in the system where they're just going to end up, they possibly could come back out and cause more crimes? What is it, like 45% of people are recidivating, but yet if they go through RJ, it's 11%?
Oh,
So it's like,
that's not transfer.
yeah, so like let's take those different avenues. You know, I mean, what do we hear from officers? What I hear from officers is, went down to court, it didn't work, they got court cost dismissed, whatever, you know, quaff, all this. Court doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Okay, well, let's try this. Well, that's not going to work. Well, if you're saying one thing doesn't work, let's try something new. What's the harm? You know, let's try something new. Let's make something that works. Let's make our community better. So that's all. I'm trying to do my little corner.
And you were also letting other people in the room. You brought me into the room. You brought me onto the board. You brought me to meet several police officers and to get my name out there about unconscious bias and unconscious belonging. So thank you. I really appreciate you. Call what's next. So
I don't know. I just wanted to tie that question in. To those of you being here today, thank you so much. At the beginning, I mentioned that I had the pleasure of having the nation's finest here with me, and after today's segment, I still uphold that. I give you all applause. Thank you for doing God's work. Definitely want to borrow that, and thank you for the allyship. Thank you for being there. Thank you for the unconscious belonging, because I can feel it now. So, audience members, please like, subscribe, share, comment, hashtag it could have been me. We're out. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you, everyone. That's it. You guys are amazing.